What's going on, guys? This is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now, in past videos, I've talked about the importance of the DSCR, or the debt service coverage ratio, as it relates to doing cash out refinances on your project, especially when you're using commercial loans. Now, if you don't remember, DSCR, debt service coverage ratio, is basically just that ratio of your new net operating income to your new debt service. So the reason I bring that up is I'm actually doing a cash out refinance right now. And because I got a little bit less than my projected rent, I ended up getting a lot less cash. In fact, $200,000 less cash than I thought I could pull out of the property. So in this video, I'll talk about the logistics of that. I'll talk about the details of this process and just how badly, a little bit drop in rent can potentially hurt your cash out refinances on your project. So with that, let's get at it. What's going on, guys? My name is Lior and welcome back to my channel. Now, before I get into the meat of the potatoes of the video, super quickly, guys, number one, if this is your first time on my channel, first of all, welcome. Second of all, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm putting out tons of new videos every single week with strategies and tips on real estate investing and rental property investing, giving you guys tours of my project, and even giving you guys, things I've learned from my own losses, just like this video. So make sure you subscribe if that's the kind of content you're looking for. So let's get right into it and talk about the importance of debt service coverage ratio and cash out refinances. So first, let me give you guys the story about this project and how I was thinking about it. So basically, this was a 4-unit deal that I bought that we were going to gut rehab and then lease out. Now, we had to purchase the money with hard money just because of the timeline of the transaction and everything. So my plan was to purchase with hard money, get construction loans from them, right? And then lease out the property and then do a cash out refinance into a nice, stable commercial loan from a local bank. So we were able to actually execute pretty well on our strategy, right? We did the construction. We spent $600,000. The units came up brand new, essentially. We leased out the property, got 4 tenants in there, and we thought we were doing pretty well. Now, the issue came with the rental amounts that we got from our tenants. So on our underwriting, I had pretty good projections that that I thought we could get, and they were actually based on local Section 8 guidelines, right? Because a lot of our product, we typically get a lot of Section 8 applicants. So I'm very familiar with working with Section 8 tenants. And I know what kind of rent Section 8 pays in different neighborhoods. So I felt pretty good about this. But what ended up happening, we did end up getting Section 8 tenants. But what we weren't really ready for was the housing authority, as they were finishing up the lease negotiations, kind of out of nowhere, decided to renegotiate us a little bit on the rent, right? So the tenants came in, applied at the rents that we were asking, but at the very end, the housing authority, basically on each of the 4 tenants, brought us down by about $200 to $300 per unit, right? And that's happened in the past. Sometimes they try to kind of squeeze the landlord down. It's always a little bit of a negotiation. And the issue was I didn't really want to push back because we were a little bit under the fire, right? Because we had a hard money loan. We needed to get the commercial cash out going, right? Because my hard money note was due within a year of taking it out, and that year mark was starting to come up pretty quickly. So I kind of just said, you know what, we gotta take whatever they're offering. So we essentially ended up taking about $1,000 gross between all the 4 units, less in total revenue than we had initially projected in per month. Now, what's crazy about this process is even though we kind of got dragged down a little bit on rents, on the appraised value of the building, we absolutely blew it at the park, right? Our appraised value came in like almost $250,000 more than I thought it would be. Instead of 1.8 million, which is what I anticipated, we came in at basically 2.05 million, right? So the appraised value was 100% there. We got everything we wanted to on the back end. The construction came out clean. The appraiser had no issues with anything. So all of that worked out well, except for those rents. So what ended up happening is, as we were going through the negotiation with a new commercial lender who's issuing us this new loan, because our rents were basically $1,000 less than our initial projections, our loan to value that we were able to take on the back end got squished because the debt service coverage ratio decreased, right? So again, if you think about it, if you're collecting less monthly revenue, right, basically your net operating income is going to go down, which means your debt service coverage is also gonna go down, right? Because debt service coverage ratio is just net operating income divided by your monthly mortgage payment, right? So if your net operating income decreases, in order for that one, for that ratio, that debt service coverage ratio to stay the same, you have to decrease the mortgage payment, which means you can borrow less money from the banks. Hence, your loan of value on the cash out goes down, right? So instead of looking at 70 to 75% on the cash out and be able to kind of pull additional juice out of this building, we got squeezed, and now we're looking at basically a 65% loan of value cash out, right? And that difference, it doesn't sound like a ton, but we initially had a 75% offer. So that difference between a 75% loan of value on the cash out refinance versus a 65% cash out on a 2.05 million building is actually over $200,000. So that's $200,000 that we could have pulled additional from the building, and basically used as additional funds, cashed even more money at the building. But again, because we got compressed on the rents from our negotiations with the housing authorities, unfortunately, the bank essentially lowered their loan of value, and we weren't able to pull out that additional gravy that we were hoping to. So this was a really good lesson for me because, in hindsight, there was not really much we could have done because, we were kind of under the gun on the front end from the hard money lender, right? Because we had to cash out that loan within a year. So we didn't really want to mess around with renegotiating rents. And, so there wasn't too much we could do, but that's something I'm kind of going to definitely keep in mind moving forward, right? And that's something you should also consider, right? So think about, especially if you're going to be doing the BRRR strategy, right? Where you're going to be doing these cash out refinances on the back end, you really got to look at this debt service coverage ratio, and analyze that to see how your next lender is going to take a look at that. I've done videos on this topic before, but you never really learn a lesson as well when it really hits home. And this was certainly one of those instances for me where it really hit home directly into my wallet. We could have had an additional $200,000 that we could have gone and spent, and potentially purchased other property. We're still gonna do really well on the project, and we still have a ton of equity now, and it's a great project. We're still gonna have great cash flow. But, that's certainly, having that idea of being excited about being able to pull an extra $200,000 and then having it taken away from you certainly stings a little bit. So, make sure you use this lesson for yourself and make sure you really analyze the numbers on the back end if you're doing these kinds of projects so that you don't run into the same hurdle that I did. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. If you have any questions, comments, make sure you shoot them below and I will definitely help you out.